So we're using a script today with ChatGPT, so we'll see how good it works. But welcome viewers to today's video where we're going to discuss how to automate a training and certification process for a cavity wall installation extraction business. Right, I've had to film this one again because the whole screen recording froze, but my camera was working, so none of it made sense. But anyway, to start again, what we're doing for this business is streamlining their training and certification process. So what happens is at the business, I had to go around with him just to audit it to see what could be automated, because you don't know what can until I had to see how their structure is and how it's set up. So I went there. Make sure my screen's working. So I went there, just had a look at things, and I thought the best thing to do would be to straight away make a training video to show how to train the staff, so he didn't have to do it every time. He only has to do it once via a video. Then he can send the link an infinite amount of times to any number of staff, and to have people answer questions about the video to make sure they're competent, which will save time in the future again. So they're just trained a bit more than the baseline, even if it could be effective, it could not, but in theory there's no reason why it shouldn't work. And I think that's all where we are at the minute. And then a certificate of completion will get sent to the potential recruit as well, just to show that they've done it, to make sure that they're not lying. And it just looks a lot better for taking a business professional as well. So I'll show an example of the process, then how to build the process. So we'll start with, I've got a lot of tabs open, it's nightmarish, right. So the process starts where the potential recruit would receive this form, they watch the video, we'll shorten it to a better URL, and the video is just, this is just a dummy video to start with. As you can see here below. So it's just a health and safety video, how to use the equipment, how to set up before you go on job to a site. It's only 20 seconds long. It would be a few minutes long at least in the full thing, but I just put a dummy video there to put the link in the right place and just to show the customer how things are edited, what titles could look like, and just to give them an idea of how they might want to structure the video. But I think the best thing to do is to create the questions and the answers. Then when you make your video, you can make a training video based on all the questions that are in the thing. So we're going to do that. So there's a video. The potential recruit watches it. They fill in the details, answer the questions, and then click submit. Now, if the questions are correct, all of them, a process will happen in. Just save this and back out. Well, a process will happen in make.com, which automates an email being sent to them automatically with a certificate saying they've done it if the answers are right, and if even one answer is wrong, it won't do anything. So how this happens is, I'll show an example. So I'll put my name, so I'll go back, so I've got no unread emails. I'll put my name, so Jordan Leake, random number, me at jordanleake.com, and I'm going to fill this in wrong on purpose. So unloading the van takes one person, and I've got a keyboard shortcut that has a macro that just fills it in for me. So I filled it in wrong. Submit. When I submit, nothing happens even a few seconds later. Normally this process would start here, so nothing's happening. But if I fill in this form correctly, so I think in my database I'll have the wrong answers here. So I've got the wrongest answer, just dummy questions. So if I delete all these records, I don't need them. So let's say I've got a wrong answer. I'll do it right now. So Jordan Leake 7412690, me at jordanleake.com, and then we're going to fill it in correctly. So that's been filled in correctly. And what will happen is this process should start, which it has. And what happens is I should get an email saying hey, first name, Jordan, congratulations on passing the test. In the attachment I've added just the body of the text basically, the phone number field in there based on what I put in, sent to the email based on what I put in before, and the first name is based on what I've put in before as well. So I get a certificate in PDF format, which is accessible on most devices, with a certificate of completion with unique information on it. So that's automatic based on somebody getting the questions right. They can then show this to the boss, the team leader, or whatever it may be tomorrow to prove that they've actually done it. So as soon as people come onto the job, they've got some level of competence, maybe not some practical training, and there's more to go, but they've got some level of competence just to speed things up, or so when the team leader's shouting instructions, they know at least what they're talking about. Even if it's not fully effective, if it's partially effective, that's still a win, especially considering the process is automated. So how we build this, or how it works, so I'll go into that now. So the questionnaire first, and I was trying to think of all the fields of data that could be useful later, such as certification template. It would need a name and an email to send it to. Doesn't need the phone number, but I added that anyway, just in case they might want to make contact about work, or say if a receptionist or somebody else is looking at this data and needs to call someone who's not turned up to work. A phone number is just good to have. Make sure the screen's still working. Yeah. So I collect all the data that I thought might be useful, either for a certificate, might be useful in the business, and then obviously I've got the questions. So I watched the job happen from start to finish, and I tried to think of everything possible. I might have not done a couple of things right because it's not my line of work. So I've sent it to the customer or the business owner for review, and he's going to rewrite some of the questions, but I've done most of it, and I'll just tell him to just give me a correct answer and a few wrong, or if I've done anything wrong, just rewrite it in a way that works. But what will happen is you have an automation within Airtable that if certain conditions are met, it'll run a script. So the conditions are if the answers are correct. So to do that, it'll be on this form that's completed, if unloading the van is 2 people and the road public safety is, it's a trick question, but all of the above is selected. And if on this question this answer is selected, and so not all statements, the and statements. So and also if this question has this answer selected, and so as long as all of these conditions are met, not just half, but if all the conditions are met, then it will send the record ID, which is an ID of the record that's just been completed only. It will send that to the webhook. Now I'll put the code in the YouTube description, but you copy this and just replace the webhookURL with a webhook that's yours. So when you create a custom webhook here, custom webhook, and set it up, you'll have a URL. So you copy that address to the clipboard and you'll paste it and replace this one. So this one's just a dummy one for the sake of a test, so I'm going to edit it. But yeah, whether it's there, whether it's blank or whatever I copy at the time, just replace it with your own. All the rest of the code should be the same. I did have a problem where I copied from another YouTube video and it wouldn't work because mine's a form and his was a grid, and when I put a backslash it didn't work, but when I changed it to a question mark it did. So I just went with that. So when I tested it in here, it doesn't work and I get errors of 500, 404, 400, and I thought the code was broken until I realised that because there's a unique record ID of each form completion, that the record will be different every time. So if you're using a form, use my code and it should work, but if you're doing a grid, use another video or try this video as well. So the script is run where it will send the record ID based on the person that answered these questions to the webhook. So I'll get the record ID. Then I use Airtable get a record and provide the record ID, which was found from the previous module, and it will collect all the information about that person and the questions. Bear in mind, this situation or scenario only runs if someone gets the right answer. So if they get the wrong answers, this won't even happen. So if someone's got the right answers, it will give the record ID from Airtable to here. Then we use the record ID from the webhook in this module to get more information. Then we use this information in the templates later. So I use Max van Collenberg's video to help me with this, so I'll give him credit and I'll put his banner in the video. But we create a document from a template, and in his video what he did was he had a certificate of completion and he had fields that he wanted to edit. Now you don't have to write participant name, but I might use another name field in the future, so I just gave it a specific name. But you could just put name, but if it's wrapped in, if you want any variables that would change, you would wrap them in double parentheses, open and closed, so such as the date they completed it, it will be today's date, and if someone does one tomorrow, it wouldn't be yesterday's date. The course name, if you run multiple courses, or you could just write the cavity installation and removal course or test if this is for one place. But if you're going to have a completion based on different courses, you could put course name, but I didn't need it in this case, but I wrote it anyway. And then I did a certificate ID at the top, and I'm just going to put the Airtable record so I can match up the record with the actual PDF, just in case someone ever tries to fake one. But again, this is just a test, it's just for argument's sake. And then this was just a generated signature online, and this is all going to be the same. This and photos like this I got from Envato Elements. It's a license-free website where there's lots of stock video templates, music and sound effects, all license-free, royalty-free, and you won't get in trouble for using them. But yeah, you can get stuff off there as long as you attach it to the project and say what it's for. You can use it in anything, and they're all high-quality images. So this is the template, Cavity Wall Extraction Training template, which is in the root of the Google Drive. Now when we create a document from template, anything that had a double parentheses is now an editable variable. So the Airtable record, which is at the top in grey, has now been given the ID variable. And if you mouse over something, it'll flash in blue, or grow bigger and smaller, sorry, to show that it's pulling data from that module. Participant name, just to make it look neater, I'm doing upper, which is uppercase. So if someone spells wrong or just puts all lowercase and it doesn't look correct, or you're that kind of person, you can make things have a capital first letter, fully uppercase. I think for the certificate, fully uppercase looks good, so I did that. The course name, again, you can write course name, say if you're doing different courses, but I just chose to just write so it's the same every time, cavity removal test. And I did this date format, which you can copy as well. I put in the description for British time, because it shows the 28th of June 2023, which is a way to look at it in England. But yeah, anywhere where I had double parentheses, it's now made something so I can have a difference in it every time. It's unique every time. And for the title of the document, it'll be Jordan Leak Certificate, or I could put apostrophe S, Jordan Leak Certificate. So that's okay and done. So it'll create a document from the template, and it'll fill in the information or replace the information that's in double parentheses. It'll download it with the document ID, hover over to make sure it's from the one before, PDF because it's accessible everywhere. It'll delete it so that it doesn't take up my Google Drive space, but you can keep it if you want to and make a subfolder for that and store it in a different folder. So in this download one, I started storing things, download a document, you can choose a drive or wherever you want to put it. Or for the create document from template, that's where you choose where it goes. So I had a subfolder, but we're deleting them anyway. And logically, I thought you'd have to send the email then delete it, because if you delete it, there'd be nothing to send. But I think on the tutorial that I watched from Max van Collenberg, he did delete it first, and the PDF that's been downloaded must just be floating about in the scenario, so you can delete it and it's not a problem. Then when it's done, we have email subject, which could be the same for every person, and then in the content, which is the email body, these P's are open and closed. That represents one line break, so putting two of those will represent two line break. If I don't put them but I still press enter like this, it doesn't actually put any lines. So it's HTML, so you have to do that yourself. And I just made it look neater. So hey, if the person put in their name or lowercase, it will capitalise it, so it look professional from our end. Hey, capitalise first name, congratulations on passing the test. If your phone number is this, so you can add in fields that are variables as well. So what will happen is, if the person puts in the questions correct and correct only, it will run this scenario where it gives the record ID based on the person that's just filled it in. With the record ID, it will use that record ID to collect all this information for things to put in the certificate. I use that data to put in the certificate so it's different every time. And then I download the document to be sent an email later, but then I delete it so it's not in our Google Drive taking up space, and the email will get sent to email of the person, so whatever they put in the form, the email will be that, and it'll be their first name and their phone number to say if it's correct you'll be added to a work group chat for work related purposes possibly. Have a great day, just corporate speak. And that's how it's built. I think I've covered everything, just double check. Yeah, I'm going to put everything in the description that you need, but with this automation in place, potential recruits can watch a training video and they can receive a custom certificate if they answer correctly, and it's all automated. It costs about 2p per completed certificate, not failed certificate, and obviously as you can see this is cheaper than having a receptionist make one, type it out, print it off, send it, or if you do have a receptionist, it will take time off our hands to do other jobs instead. And the streamlined process saves time for the business owner and eliminates the need for manual training sessions as well, and keeps track of certified individuals in the Airtable database. But that's it for there. Thanks for watching today's video on automating the training and certification process, in this case for the cavity wall installation extraction. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and share it with others, and feel free to leave any questions with it, or comments in the comment section below, especially if you're stuck on something. But stay tuned for more automation tutorials.